Coming up on this episode of Falmouth in Focus, find out about the 3 places the 300 Committee thinks you should explore this spring. Learn about the Nobska Light's new stewards, the town of Falmouth, and the nonprofit group Friends of Nobska Light. Hear about a local organization for veterans that's hosting a 275-mile race that ends in town. And learn about what Falmouth Academy students are doing to help save a local endangered species. All this and much more on this episode of Falmouth in Focus.
Hello and welcome to Falmouth in Focus, FCTV's current affairs program. I'm Liz Lerner, the Membership and Outreach Coordinator here at FCTV. We start this episode with a historic day for Falmouth. Monday, April 25th marked a change of license for the iconic Nobska Light as it was transferred from the United States Coast Guard to the town, which will now be responsible for its maintenance and upkeep.
Well, it's just extraordinarily gratifying and so indicative of what Falmouth's all about. That when the town had the opportunity to apply for a license to operate and oversee the property here at Nobska Light Station, that these 4 nonprofits stepped forward and indicated a willingness to work with us and create a new nonprofit group, the Friends of Nobska Light, to run the day-to-day operations. It really speaks about what makes Falmouth great.
Friends of Nobska Light, a new nonprofit headed by Executive Director Bumpus, was created to act as stewards of the lighthouse.
Nice to give a formal start to this arrangement because we've been working on it for so long, and now we are actually at the point where we are taking over responsibilities. But we've been talking about it for a long time within the community, and now that we are actually responsible, it is good to get our feet on the ground and say we're starting here and now, and we're all coming together because this is going to be a huge community effort for everybody involved.
Handing over the keys of the lighthouse was Captain John Conratowicz of the United States Coast Guard to Falmouth Board of Selectmen Chairman Doug Jones.
Really, Falmouth's greatness in a nutshell. Everybody coming together, and this special location, Nobska Point, that really says so much about the history of the community. It just is a privilege to stand here and to play a role in this, and to thank everyone and cheer the community on of all the additional exciting things to come.
Friends plan on turning the former Lightkeepers residence into a visitor center where the public can learn about Nobska's past.
So that people can come in and learn a little bit about the history of Falmouth and about maritime history, because we are generally made up of historic preservation organizations. So that is an educational and historic resource is what we hope to be, so that people can learn why is Nobska important? What did it matter that when Nobska was built, 10,000 vessels went past Nobska in 1826, which was the year Nobska was first a lighthouse.
Additional dignitaries present included State Senator Vinnie DiMacedo and Congressman Wiliam Keating.
It is special, and this is special, and this will become one of the destination points in our entire region. And I think that the people realize that they banded together to make sure this was preserved.
Until we sight Nobska around Martha's Vineyard, straight up the channel to New Bedford we'll go.
Nobska's actual light and foghorn will continue to aid mariners by the Coast Guard, but all other upkeep will fall on the Friends of Nobska Light. If you'd like more information about the Friends, their website is friendsofnobska.org. Election day is coming right up, and the town is rolling out some new voting machines to take your ballot. FCTV met with Town Clerk Michael Palmer to learn about how they work.
My name is Michael Palmer. I am Falmouth's Town Clerk. I was first elected in 2003. It's an elected position, elected every 3 years. November's town meeting appropriated money to purchase new voting equipment for the town of Falmouth. We've been using the present equipment purchased in 1996, and I think we purchased it for approximately $64,000. We appropriated money in November's town meeting to purchase new equipment. And we have put out invitations to bid, and 2 companies that are certified by the Secretary of the Commonwealth submitted bids, and the machine that we chose to use is called Image Cast Voting System. It's an optical scan voting machine, similar to the one we are using now. You'll notice some slight differences. The LCD screen is a little bit bigger in the new equipment and give you better instructions of when the ballot is cast, if it's being rejected for some reason. If a ballot is rejected, you have the opportunity to correct, and it will tell you why it was rejected. There are also some larger buttons on the front of that. If you choose not to correct the error that's on the ballot, you can hit a button that says cast, and the ballot will be cast. Everything else on the ballot that it was correct will be counted. The portion of the ballot that was marked incorrectly will be counted as a blank. There is also a button to say return that, and you're allowed to get up to 3 additional ballots from an election official to correct the ballot and correct your voting, so it's every vote is counted correctly as you choose to. For election workers and for the office staff, there will be some additional training in order to the end of night procedures of how to accumulate all the results from each precinct and download them, and to get a combined results at the end of the night.
Thank you to FCTV's Jeff Wyman for that piece. Also from the government side of things, here's 3 things from Town Hall, FCTV's condensed version of the takeaways from recent municipal meetings. Selections are chosen based on community impact.
The Board of Selectmen announced the town's plan for the Wind 1 turbine and their response to the denial of the special permit by the Zoning Board of Appeals.
First, the Board of Selectmen has deliberated on the overall impact of the Zoning Board of Appeals decision to deny a special permit for the continued operation of Wind 1. The Selectmen have carefully weighed the impact of this decision and find on balance that the long-range environmental and fiscal impacts to the taxpayer of the town of Falmouth are too great to allow this decision to stand without an objective review of the merits by the court. We find it is in the community's best interest to protect this major public investment. Accordingly, the board voted this evening to file an appeal of Zoning Board Case 62-15.
DPW Director Ray Jack gave his monthly report on the status of the water filtration and wastewater projects.
It's not quite as impressive as it usually is, because it goes from some blue to a lot of blue when I switch the slides. And in this case, because they're on Mara Vista doing a very deep main and Route 28 doing a very deep main, it's kind of a little more difficult to see their progress, but it is visible.
He also took a moment to address the concerns and frustrations of the residents in regards to the ongoing construction in town.
They have till Memorial Day. They're making really good progress, so our hope is they're going to finish up maybe early. By maybe early, that could be anywhere from a week to week and a half early. That's being hopeful, but they actually would have up until Memorial Day, because it's critical to complete that component, because there are 2 mains coming from those lift stations, so they can't activate anything until those are in service.
The selectmen have decided to go ahead with creating a 7-person committee to work on overseeing the building plans and assessing the best location for the new senior center.
Well, I think the first thing is to figure out how many people we want and describe them without describing their names. I mean, so sure. We could say we're going to have 9 members of the committee. We'd like 2 of them to be local builders, and it's just so where we are right now. And I would suggest that 9, unless we...
I just think 7 is so much better. We need to 9.
Let's see if we can do 7.
It gets overpowering.
Okay, so...
7, for at least in my experience, 7 has always worked very well.
And I think we'd want someone from the Council on Aging as a representative.
Yes.
Generally, we have a member of the Board of Selectmen as part of that committee. You'd suggest 2...
To see the meetings in their entirety, check out FCTV's website and click on the Government Channel 15 link at fctv.org. There's lots going on around town this month, and we're going to highlight just a few upcoming events in our Falmouth in Focus calendar. Tomorrow night, Saturday, May 7th, from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. is the Trad Stroll Woods Hole that begins at the top of Water Street and moves along the streets of Woods Hole as 9 traditional music groups play. All music is free, but there is a dance with a charged admission at 8 p.m. at Woods Hole Community Hall. Tuesday, May 17th is the annual town election. A variety of town-wide offices are on the ballot, including selectmen and school committee, and specific town meeting member slots will be voted on as well. Tune to Public Channel 13 for live election coverage beginning at 8 p.m. that night. A new event is happening on Sunday, May 22nd, a walk for history from 8 a.m. until 11 a.m. with the museums on the green. This scenic, family-friendly 5K walk begins and ends at the museums on the green and has participants meeting some of Falmouth's compelling characters from yesteryear. Also this month, FCTV's Mazer Gallery exhibit, Color Moves Me, landscape artwork by Robin Manning, will be on display at the Mazer Gallery at Falmouth Community Television from May 1st through May 26th. We're going to take a quick break to learn about an adoptable cat from People for Cats. But when we come back, we'll learn how Falmouth Academy students are helping local endangered animals, hear from the 300 Committee on their recommendations of 3 must-see Falmouth spots in spring, and find out about a local organization that's holding a truly unique race in a few weeks. Stay with us.
Bowie is approximately 1.5 years old and has a beautiful gray tabby tiger coat. He's still painfully shy, but has shown himself to be quite sweet. Bowie will need to find a special someone that will allow him to become more comfortable with his surroundings at his own pace. He's been diagnosed with a heart murmur, which is being treated with low doses of aspirin. Why not come in and see if you're that special person who will give this scaredy cat a second chance? For more information about Bowie and to learn People for Cats' location and hours, visit peopleforcats.org.
Welcome back. Our reporter Brian Sullivan brings us this next piece about a project at Falmouth Academy that was a few years in the making.
At the back end of the upper parking lot at Falmouth Academy, you'll see things that you may not normally associate with a typical high school. This area is known as a living classroom and features a greenhouse where the students can see firsthand what it's like to grow something as basic as lettuce. They can get up close and personal with these chickens. At the top of the hill is a nearly impossible to miss 100-foot-high wind turbine. The area also boasts beehives, a frog pond, and now its most recent addition, this vernal pool right behind me. The project as an idea was about 2 years in the works, but only took 12 hours and 1 day to actually create, as evidenced by this time-elapsed video shot by one of the students.
Once we decided to do it, it took a day. It took a 12-hour day, but it took a day and probably about 100 kids and faculty members coming out all throughout the day to help us out. But it's a very short period of time that it takes to do it once you decide to do it.
As you pan across the landscape of this plot, you can see boulders the size of compact cars dotting the perimeter, which made having the excavator that much more pertinent. Once those rocks were removed and the ground was graded, it was time to stretch out the layers of tarp on the ground to create a seal for the vernal pool. You can see that here in this video. Falmouth Academy junior Sam Bumpus was one of the students putting in some overtime that day to help lay out the tarp. He's already looking at the long-term implications of this project.
Right now it doesn't look like too much, mostly a lot of straw and some water, but there's a lot of kids are thinking, what's this going to be like when it grows? What are we going to be able to do here? This is just something that is new for Falmouth Academy, that we have gone and done things outside before, but this is our own new space that we can use.
For those who may not know what a vernal pool is, Jill Reeves explains.
A vernal pool is a body of water that will fill with water certain times of the year, dry up certain times of the year, and it is home to a variety of species, including some endangered species we have here on Cape Cod, like the spotted salamander and the spadefoot toad.
While this project was in the works on paper for nearly 2 years, many of the students didn't know about it until the ground was actually broken.
I didn't know this was happening until it was pretty much time, but I heard about it and I was really excited about it, and I thought it was really cool that we at Falmouth Academy can give back to the environment.
One other positive aspect about this area, due to the water and the creatures that inhabit it, it will actually serve to control the mosquito population. So that's a big bonus come summertime. Reporting from Falmouth Academy at the vernal pool, I'm Brian Sullivan for Falmouth in Focus.
Thank you to staff and students of Falmouth Academy for their time on that piece. The 300 Committee joins us this episode to give us 3 areas of conservation land that are perfect to visit this time of year.
Hi, I'm Jessica Rittenauer, Administrator of the 300 Committee Land Trust in Falmouth. Today I want to share with you some information about 3 really lovely conservation areas that are especially nice to visit in springtime in Falmouth. The first one is Peterson Farm, and it's off of Woods Hole Road, McCallum Drive, and it's a lovely 88-acre property. There's a nice sheep pasture there, so folks that are there walking on the trail that goes around the sheep pasture will find the sheep grazing. Springtime is really special because there's baby lambs, so families, it's sort of a rite of passage for a lot of families to go down in springtime and see the lambs. For those interested in birding, it's a wonderful birding spot. There's a lot of grassland birds, and the 300 Committee, one of our volunteers has documented over 145 different types of birds over the years, and we have information on that at the 300 Committee office. A visit to Peterson Farm is one of the most joyous parts of springtime. Not only can you enjoy the farm itself, but it connects in with a really vast network of trails in the BB Woods property, which is 387 acres that the town owns, and just a lovely gift of land to the town. So Peterson Farm, BB Woods, a must for any springtime visit or weekend in Falmouth. And the second place that we're going to feature for springtime visits in Falmouth is the Moraine Trail. Specifically, the Long Pond section of the Moraine Trail, lovely time of year for the lady slippers, and the northern end of Long Pond is known to have a number of those beautiful flowers. So a walk around Long Pond is lovely this time of year, and for the really adventurous, there is a 9-mile hike. So if you do from Long Pond all the way up to 151 on the Moraine Trail, you can really experience some of the rugged terrain and just a totally different sort of viewpoint of Falmouth. There is an end-to-end Moraine Trail hike that the 300 Committee is organizing with the Buzzards Bay Coalition, and that is planned for May 15th. Folks literally go from one end of the Moraine Trail to the other, bring a sack lunch. But even if you can't make that hike, any time a visit to Long Pond and the Moraine Trail is a fun little adventure. And our third special place to visit in Falmouth in springtime is the Riverbend Conservation Area. This is a lovely little property. It's 9.5 acres, and the 300 Committee Land Trust bought it several years ago. It has frontage on the Coonamessett River, and the property, you access the property itself from Sandwich Road, and there is a parking area right off of Sandwich Road. You'll recognize probably the historic silo that's been on the property for years. It's been there since the early 1900s, and it was just restored a couple of years ago. The Riverbend property itself it's a nice little gem right on the river. There's benches so you can sit and overlook the river. There's a picnic area. It's handicap accessible picnic area, so it makes for a nice spot for a little springtime picnic. And there's a trail system there as well. As you walk down the trail system towards the river, you'll go across our bog bridges. They're little wooden structures that we put on the ground to protect some really special plants that are growing in the boggy, marshy area there. There's a carnivorous plant called the sundew. That's one of the rare plants that you don't find many places in Falmouth. Riverbend is, it's a quick walk. You can really enjoy just a nice quiet time in the woods and enjoy a little time on our Coonamessett River.
For more information about the 300 Committee and to access maps of these locations, visit the organization's website at 300committee.org. Jessica will be back with us in the summer for more spots to explore. Here is In Transition, a local organization that helps veterans and aims to pair them with PTSD service dogs, is hosting a particularly grueling ruck race that ends in Falmouth and starts in New York City.
Heroes in Transition, our mission is to help in many ways. We have 4 main points to our mission, and our number one is to we have a PTSD assistance dog program, and that's what we're doing the Ruck for Hip for, is to raise money for a PTSD assistance dog. So that's one of the things that really we have seen grown in the past few years. Last year we were able to get 18 PTSD assistance dogs trained for 18 different veterans in 1 year alone. Since we started in 2010 with the PTSD assistance program, we've actually been able to train over 40 dogs.
I think in addition to the wonderful work that they do, the fact that they're a local organization, it just makes it better for me because you get to see the people around here, not just Nicole being one of the directors and part of the foundation, but seeing the help that they do for local veterans as well.
We will be starting the actual relay event at 3 a.m. on Friday morning, and we're actually going to start from ground zero, so we'll have just a small service there, and we'll start on our way. And our thought process is it's going to take anywhere between 40 to 46 hours, depending on how fast or slow that we run. Like, there's so many people that want to support us. You know, so many people have said, how can we help? What can we do? We have just a support crew that may not be able to make it through the whole way. So our thought process was about a mile out on 28A, across from the Village Trading Company. That's about where our mile mark is. So we're just hoping that anyone that might want to come out and run the last mile with us, it would just be a really neat way to finish this 275-mile journey.
Not only is the ruck, it's the pack that everyone wears, but it also sort of symbolizes, carrying each other, no one left behind type of mentality that, you strap it on your back and you go and you work in team fashion, that relay fashion. So the ruck symbolizes the weight that you carry, and if they can do that over there with far more weight and far more grueling circumstances, I think we can do it with a 30-pound pack.
So we have a First Giving fundraising page set up for anyone that is interested in donating. And honestly, we're doing this because we want to raise $14,000 for a PTSD assistance dog. That's what it costs to get those dogs trained and get them into a veteran's hand. So it is our goal as a big team to raise that.
Thank you to FCTV's Michael Sperling for that story. You can keep track of the racers through Heroes in Transition's Facebook page, Heroes in Transition Ruck Relay. The runners expect to get to the finish line in Falmouth on Sunday, May 15th. We're going to do something a little different this episode. Consider this your moment of zen. Local Kind Yoga instructor Michelle Brandt offers us instruction on a breathing technique that can be used to calm the mind. Thank you to Mashpee's Heels Overhead Studio for use of their space.
Okay, so the technique I'd like to introduce to you is called Dirga breath. It's a 3-part breath. The first thing we would do is settle into whatever position we're in, relaxing the body, releasing the jaw, the face, the eye muscles, and the entire body, just scanning it and allowing the body to be still. And then we would draw our attention to our breath. This is 3 parts. So what we'll be doing is allowing the belly to rise on the inhale, starting with the lower portion of the lungs. So taking an inhale, allowing the belly to rise up, and then allowing the rib cage to expand on the inhale, and then drawing it all the way up just beneath the collarbones. The chest will rise, and then pause, and then fully exhale, either through the mouth or the nose, drawing the navel to the spine and fully expelling all that air. And then we would repeat this again. And that's the Dirga technique. So this deep breathing can be used in so many different occasions. If you're ever feeling stressed out, anxious, depressed, if you need energy, it helps with relaxing the muscles. It could also reduce your blood pressure or stabilize the blood pressure. There's so many benefits, and a regular practice of using this deep breathing can really help with all of those different factors. That's our wellness tip. I hope you found it helpful. Namaste.
Welcome back. Troy's Take This episode was recorded at Spohr Gardens, a local gem that recently held their annual Daffodil Day celebration.
Thanks, Liz. You know, sunny days and short pants and stuffy noses can only mean one thing. It's springtime at the Spohr Gardens. Charlie and Margaret Spohr were married in 1946. In 1950, they located here to Falmouth and acquired this beautiful property on the shores of Oyster Pond. Right away, they started the beautiful plantings that you see all around this wonderful property. And in 2003, a charitable trust was formed to preserve this property and its beauty strictly for the public for all eternity. So the public, every day of the year, 365 days a year, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., can enjoy the beauty and the splendor of this wonderful property free of charge. So I'm here with my new friend Sebastian, enjoying the beauty of the Spohr Gardens. What do you think of this place, buddy?
It's pretty cool. It's like a museum.
That's a great way to put it. It's like an outdoor museum with all the anchors and the flowers. What's your favorite part?
The anchors.
The anchors, yeah. You can probably picture those old ships running through the water hundreds of years ago, huh?
Yeah.
Charlie Spohr began collecting anchors as a young boy. And now on this property, there are many, many examples of his collection. This one that I'm standing next to dates back to 1760. So when you come here to the Spohr Gardens, you'll not only get a taste of the incredible natural beauty of the area, the daffodils and the rhododendrons, but you'll get a little history as well. And just to show what a real community resource this here is a beautiful holly tree that's been transformed by some folks into a wishing tree. Like, I wish that I could be an owl. I wish for forgiveness. And my personal favorite from Louisa, I wish the rest of my teeth could come in soon. So everyone has an opportunity not only to enjoy the scenery here at the Spohr Gardens, but to just think about what they wish could be. Since admission is free, a charitable trust has been set up to maintain and to keep beautiful this wonderful property. So I'm standing here amongst the rock garden where memorials for several people have been erected for people that donate money to keep the flowers growing and the beauty sustained. This is just one of the many jewels in this community that's supported by the incredible efforts of donors and volunteers. That's really what Falmouth is all about. So when you get a chance, come on down to the Spohr Gardens and just support this incredible beauty and this incredible effort, the vision created by the Spohrs so many, many years ago. I'm Falmouth Enterprise columnist Troy Clarkson, and that's my springtime take. Back to you, Liz.
Thank you, Troy. We're always thrilled to see residents use their smartphones to record images around town, just like Troy did, and we want your input too. Become a part of Falmouth in Focus to send your photos and videos to liz@fctv.org or use the hashtag MyFalmouth and Falmouth in Focus to be featured on the show. Thank you to our recent contributors. We're going to end this episode with the sights and sounds from Highfield Hall's Welcome Back Open House, which took place on Sunday, May 1st. Thank you to FCTV member Allison Leshin for her great footage. And thank you for joining us for this episode of Falmouth in Focus. We'll see you next time.
Okay.